A very pleasant good afternoon as we welcome you into the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show here at Quaker Steak and Lube, the place to be, especially on a rainy, dreary day like this. You come in and immediately your spirits are lifted, and then you check the Major League Baseball standings, and your spirits are lifted even
13
higher.
seconds is what it took. I'm impressed.
It is. Well, listen, I know we're early, and some people start getting carried away.
Yep.
I have some friends that are like, let's get the World Series tickets. Listen, the Dodgers could still spoil the. I mean,
absolutely.
It's coming down to the Pirates and Dodgers. I think that's much
a huge
is
must-win series coming out in a few weeks.
But pretty clear now that one of those two will be raising the national.
No offense, Ironhead here, huh? I mean, Alan shows up here. He's dressed like Willie Stargell.
Yeah,
Brenton's in here, and you come walking in. It's like a love fest. All three Penguin fans in the State College, or three Pirate fans in the State College area,
and
are
Penguin
all
fans.
Here.
Penguins are about to make history, going on a late season surge that will lead to the Stanley Cup. I think they are up to like a 4% chance now of making the playoffs.
Flyers,
it had been like a 3.4% chance.
The Flyers did wet down their pants. So they've been.
No big deal.
Horrendous.
Just playing the best team in the NHL. Yeah, we'll just whip them 5-2. No issues there.
Who's that?
Who
they beat?
The Penguins last night beat the Rangers.
No
biggie.
4-1. Wow.
Yes,
well, the Flyers had beat up the Rangers for you a little bit, tenderized them a little bit, and you guys just came in. Swooped in and took Bears.
Penguins also, Sidney Crosby last night becoming just the second player in NHL history, joining Wayne Gretzky as the players who have now had 19 seasons where they have averaged at least a point per game during the course of the season. There was a time when he was going through the concussion issues, right? There was no way.
I thought he was
best
done.
Case scenario. It was like maybe he can get through another season or two.
I never thought he would. I never thought. Okay, I'm a hockey fan. Love it.
Yeah.
That was bad for That was bad for hockey when he went down and got hurt. And I just can't believe. I remember him getting hurt and missing that whole year. It was a year and a half, right? And then I'm sitting there saying, you know what? He's going to come back. He'll last about another year, 2 maybe, and then he'll get popped again and go to Lindros route down and just. Fade away. And, here we are a dozen years later, and he's still hanging and banging and setting records. And I never thought some of Gretzky's records would be touched. And here we got Crosby catching them. We're gonna have Ovechkin's gonna catch the total goal thing. Now, there's stuff that Gretzky had done that no one will ever touch, and that's the average and the points per, what do you have? 200 points?
Yeah.
I'm muted.
No, you're good.
Just
turn it down a little bit.
You muted myself. I can't hear myself think now. Jeez. This is probably good. But the Gretzky thing, and, okay, I will come down here on a bended knee.
Yeah.
And I will say that the Penguins have literally had three, maybe 4 top 15, 20 players of all time. I mean, think about that.
Yeah.
The Flyers are going to pull up Bobby Clark, because they're never going to put Bobby Clark ahead of Eric Lindros as their guy, and he's not in the top 20 of all time. There's not even close.
Yeah.
And the Penguins are rocking 3, possibly 4 in there. Like, that's impressive. And it was in the first 20 years of what was it, 67 when we both came into the league. You really didn't have much until Mario in 86?
That's
84.
Didn't have much.
84. I remember. I saw his first goal in Philadelphia. I saw his first game in Philadelphia.
All right, we've gone long enough without. We always go to the comments, Goon, and just a very bright, astute audience that we have out there, and
wow.
We're
drinking early, huh? Jeez.
Excellent job calling Wrestling Nationals once again. It was a fun Nationals to call, that is for sure. And Aaron Brooks, if you missed it, has been announced as the Hodge Trophy winner. They will do a presentation at a football game here in the fall, or maybe even at the blue white game. But he will be presented the award at the wrestling club's awards luncheon, which is coming up this Sunday, and really neat. There's a lot of cool things about Aaron Brooks' season, but if you read through the Hodge article, one of the neatest things about his career is, again, he won 3 titles at 184, then goes up to 197, wins the national title there. So becomes a 4-time national champion, 3 at 184, 1 at 197. Well, his head coach happened to win 3 national titles at 184 and then won his final title at 197.
His high school coach, because his wrestling college coach is pretty good too.
No, that would be one Cale Sanders.
Unbelievable.
So, yeah, very neat angle to it there. We can go through the. I don't know that there's an award that was within reach that Aaron Brooks did not take home this year. The Hodge Trophy, if you don't know, is basically the Heisman Trophy of college wrestling. Goes to the outstanding wrestler. There is it is primarily wrestling greatness. There is a component of moral. I forget exactly how it's phrased. I should have brought it with me. But anyways, and Aaron clearly, was the obvious choice this year. And it's not that there weren't some other great ones, and 3 of his teammates were up for the finalist. Parker Kakaisen of Northern Iowa finished second in the voting.
I didn't see that.
Greg Kirkfleet, Levi Haynes, and Carter Starachi were also up for the honor. But Aaron Brooks goes 22-0. 20 of the wins are bonus point victories this season. He racks up 96 takedowns, does not give up one. He is named the outstanding wrestler of the Big Ten tournament, outstanding wrestler of the season in the Big Ten, is the most dominant wrestler in college wrestling, is named the outstanding wrestler of the NCAA tournament, and now the Hodge Trophy. And yes, by the way, in his last collegiate win, he gives Penn State's team the points it needs to break the scoring mark at the NCAA tournament, and also sets the final margin of victory at an even 100, which far surpasses the previous record for widest margin of victory. Penn State was already going to have that, but again, setting it at an even 100 with his victory. Pretty good way to go out for Aaron Brooks, and of course now gearing up for the Olympic trials.
He'll be here.
Bryce Jordan.
Okay. Starachi wins the Big Ten. Is he in that mold, in that fold, and possibly splitting it?
Yeah, for sure.
I think so too.
I
and you're on the inside, so I watch from the outside with a bunch of cretins. You're on the inside. I don't know if this really matters, if your opinion matters or not. What I'm saying is, what do you compare this to? There's nothing that I know of other than the UCLA, John Wooden, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Bill Walton era.
Yeah,
but I think this is more dominant than that. Penn State wrestling in general, what we're getting at.
Yeah, for the Al Sanderson tenure here at Penn State. Yeah, the thing about it, it's a good question. Wooden's UCLA teams would be, probably comparable. Truthfully, there's just differences. And listen, everybody. One of the great things about sports, right, like politics, everybody can have an opinion, and everybody thinks they're right, and probably 90% of what we all think is dead wrong. But it's fun to get into the discussions. The biggest difference to me, Iowa and its run under Dan Gable, where they won, the Hawkeyes won, 15 titles over 21 years of Dan Gable's tenure. And they had, the 9 straight and then 6 straight to finish up Gable's tenure. The thing about those Iowa teams, and they were great, and nobody's disputing the greatness of those Iowa teams. But two things for me. Just when you're comparing and trying to, again, for whatever it's worth, and I don't know at the end of the day that it really matters whether Iowa fans are going to say it was us and Penn State fans are going to say it was us, and Oklahoma State fans that were following that program in the late 30s and 40s. I mean, those are legendary programs as well that also had, just remarkable success. But I think a couple of things that really stand out about what Cael Sanderson has done, and I keep, from 2016 on, the entire run has been unbelievable with Cael Sanderson. But from 2016 on, what this program is doing in winning individually at the highest levels. Again, I think we talked about it last week, but there have been 8 NCAA tournaments. Of course, there was no tournament in 2020. There have been 8 NCAA tournaments since 2016. Penn State is averaging 5 finalists per tournament. Averaging. Now, 5 was not unheard of before Penn State came along, right? I mean, Iowa won 5 titles a couple of times. Oklahoma State won 5 titles. So it's not that it was unprecedented, but to have 40 finalists over 8 NCAA tournaments is, I don't know what the record is over an 8-year period before this, but, and I'll have to do some research. I should do that at some point. My guess is it's not even 20. To have 5 in the finals before this run by Penn State was like exceptional, and it is exceptional. I mean, I don't want to take away from what Penn State is doing, but I mean, it was virtually unheard of. Like, it was a huge, big deal if somebody did it. It's like, whoa, man, that is a crazy good season, and you just don't see that. You might, if you're a great program, you might see that over a couple of decades, a couple of times. I mean, Penn State, like the next time that Penn State doesn't have at least 4 in the finals, people are going to be, oh man, what's happening? What's
real
going
letdown,
on with Penn State? And again, when you look at what so that's one component. It's just the high end success, semifinals and finals success that this team is having. That is truly unprecedented in college wrestling. But I also really do think it is the way that Penn State is winning. If you go back to those great Iowa teams, and listen, there are certainly some notable and fantastic exceptions. Lincoln McElravy was a scoring machine. Brent Metcalf, I mean, Iowa has had just like guys that you're like, wow, must see wrestling. But they also had a lot of guys, and again, there's nothing wrong with this. I'm not saying that it's a problem, that the goal in any sport is to win. If you did 4 corners in college basketball, like, it might not have been exciting to watch. That wasn't your job as a coach, to make it exciting to watch, right? Your job was to find a way to win. And so if you won, mission accomplished. But, what was more fun, watching Dr. J go down the lane and dunk, or the Pistons, bash you?
Ravaging people.
Well, I mean, it's more fun. It's more pleasing to the eye to watch a team that is, cutting, slicing, dicing, hitting the threes, all of that stuff. It's just more pleasing. Again, at the end of the day, not necessarily always the most effective, but when you think about this era of Penn State wrestling, and again, it's not that every guy, there's also the misperception that, Penn State just has nothing but David Taylors and Jason Knowles. Well, no, Penn State has plenty of guys that are winning close, tight matches, but you look at the number of guys who, again, have just been fun to watch. Forget wins and losses. It's like, man, that was entertaining to watch. And I bring up probably too much a non-Penn Stater, Bryce Andonian, not a national champion, but a great wrestler for Virginia Tech and a fun watch. Like, Bryce Andonian, for my money, is just like entertaining. Like, I want to see when he's out there, because it's fun, and he's going to go for something. And he might get caught. He might get it. Whatever. It's going to be fun to watch it. It's going to be entertaining. When you look at the number of wrestlers who have come through this Penn State program, where you're like, man, that was, if you're anti-Penn State, fine, but like you have to at least acknowledge. I mean, David Taylor, Jason Nolf, Bo Nichols, Zane Rutherford, like these guys piled up points. Carter Starachi, Aaron Brooks, like these guys were fun watches. Levi Haynes now, Mitchell Messenbrink now. Greg Kirkfleet.
I like Kirkfleet. I like watching him.
So, I mean, those guys are. So, I think there's been an entertainment value, and then again, an ability to win. And in a lot of those cases, win dominantly at the highest levels, which again is very difficult to do. Once you get to the quarterfinals, bonus points get very tough to come by. And Penn State has consistently had guys who have been able to rack up bonus points even in those matches, quarterfinals, semifinals, and finals. So, again, to me, it's just we've not seen anything quite like Penn State. And, I've had a bunch of conversations this week and actually did an interview with Kale where we touched on it briefly, but trying to project next year's lineup, and I don't think anybody anywhere truly knows. I certainly don't know what that lineup is going to look like. I can make a guess, and but there are so many variables right now. The one thing you feel confident in, if you're a Penn State fan, and I think even if you're just college wrestling fan, it's like, well, Penn State is going to be really, really good next year. Like they're going to put out a lineup that has 10 really good wrestlers. But man, I mean, some of the weight classes, like where guys go, who red shirts, who. If anybody's telling you, they definitively know what the lineup looks like. Now, again, fun to project. I can, get into that as well, and it's fun. But there's just you got to see how different guys are going to be able to manage or maintain their weight. Some guys may specifically be looking to move up, and so maybe putting on muscle mass. There may be guys that are like, I'm not redshirting, and then you get into the season and you have the wrestle-offs and say, oh, I guess I am redshirting, because it's either that or you lose a year of eligibility just being the backup. They have an extraordinary amount of talent in that wrestling room right now, and again, it's fun. It is, again, if you're a Penn State fan, a great situation. But at some point, right, you have 3 or 4 elite guys battling for 2 positions. Well, eventually, you presume that some of these guys are going to go elsewhere. And again, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, right? Like that's, hey, let the, get the best guys in here, see who prevails, and wish the guys that move on the best of luck. And, one of the things that I think made this season so extraordinary in my mind is, again, the caliber of guys they had as reserves or, not in the starting lineup this season. And I think when you look at projected lineups and all of that, it's there are going to be 4 or 5 again what I will call elite wrestlers who just aren't going to be in the lineup for one reason or another. And it may be, again, just, hey, I'm redshirting, I'm going to bulk up, or I'm going to redshirt and concentrate on this or that, whatever it may be. But you're going to have some, again, national title contending good wrestlers that won't be in that starting lineup next season for the Nittany Lions.
Dumb question, could be a smart question, could be a dumb question. I don't know. I did see like the early predictions for next year's roster and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm with you. You're like, no one knows this. How active are they in the transfer portal? Or are we to the point where Penn State's to the point where, like, we have guys calling us and saying, hey, you have any interest in me?
Yeah. There are a number of guys. First of all, it is, and I guess I probably shouldn't be. It is surprising to me how many high caliber, really good wrestlers are in the portal. And I just spent a little bit of time last night as I was going off to sleep. I'm like, just kind of looking at it. And I'm like, well, and I'm certainly not going to speak for the coaching staff. They are certainly looking at the portal. And there are some really good and big names out there. I don't now. Part of this may depend on who is definitively coming back and not for Penn State. But to be honest with you, Goon, I'm not looking at it and saying, "Wow, boy, if they could get this guy, that would really there's not a weight that." And again, I'm speaking just for myself, and people can have their own opinions. There's not a weight that going into next season, I don't think Penn State, and it's much like this past season. I get that they had two guys that didn't get on the podium. There wasn't a guy in that lineup that wasn't capable of beating just about anybody, if not anybody at their weight, in any particular match this season. And I think they're in the same boat next year. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you that, nope, there's no way Penn State will take any transfer, that there won't be any incoming from the portal transfers to Penn State next year. But I'll be not shocked. I'll be very surprised if they get one that will have an impact in terms of the starting lineup.
Really?
You tell me what weight a guy. And again, I'm talking even if you had, and this isn't the case that I'm aware of, but even if you had a national champion, at another school this year, say, you know what, I want to be part of that national championship. I'm not saying there's no way somebody could come in and couldn't win a spot, but I don't think there's a weight class there where anybody coming in from anywhere else would come in and say, all right, I know I can beat whatever Penn State has in the room. Like guaranteed, no questions asked, I'll be the guy. Like Penn State, again, I think has title contenders waiting at every weight class. And again, I'm not saying they'll even have 10 All-Americans next year, but I don't think they go into next season feeling like there is a weight class where they just don't have a shot with what they have now. Now, again, that doesn't mean that, somebody calls up and says, hey, I think I can be the guy and I want to give it a go. Cale Sanderson is always going to take a phone call from somebody that thinks they can help the program and will certainly be willing to give them a shot. Now, whether or not it actually pans out, and I think it'll be very difficult for somebody to come in from outside the program. When you look at the recruiting class and then the returners for Penn State, and again, depending a little bit on what Greg Kirkfleet and Carter Starachi and those guys decide to do, but I think it's much more likely that there will be a couple of guys that hit the transfer portal, leaving Penn State, that'll get starting opportunities somewhere else next season and make an impact at their schools. But again, those are guys where you have a national title contender at the very least in front of you right now in the lineup. And it's like, well, I don't know if I can beat them, but I feel like I can beat a lot of other people in the country. So let me go out and see what I can prove there. Again, I would certainly never say never.
And he already has a recruiting class coming in.
Not only has a recruiting class coming in,
I've heard rumors.
Exceptionally good
I've heard
class.
rumors that he
arguably
almost embarrassing how good it is.
Well, the class, when you combine this class that is coming in is probably as strong and as deep as any that Penn State has had coming in, and really over the next 2 years. I say it's a nice problem if you want to look at it as a problem to have, but there's only 10 weight classes, and there's only 5 in the middle and upper weights, and they have, by the end of the 25-26 season, there's when you look at the recruits and what they have right now in that room, there's just not enough spots for the guys in the starting lineup to get everybody in there. And again, how that plays out, I don't know, but it's and I mean, Penn State has had some situations here and there where you've had this, right? Like Matt Brown and Ed Ruth. We talked about that a lot at the time, and you ended up having a national champion that couldn't, an eventual national champion that couldn't crack the starting lineup. But I mean, we're talking about, like, there's going to be 4 or 5 spots here where you're going to have a guy that is really, really good, like elite, and there's just not going to be an opportunity to get in the lineup. Now, which of those guys that is, I don't know, and that's what we'll find out.
Now, I got if you don't mind, another question. I mean, I obviously constantly have questions about wrestling, but why do some steer towards the UFC and some steer towards the Olympics? And that's just their personalities, and they just want to get involved in that.
All kinds of reasons. Money.
That's a big thing. And
money situation,
was I told correctly that somebody in the was wrestling in the Nationals was actually an MMA fighter already, and he's been paid for fighting? Is that true?
Yeah, now you can do that, and yeah, that's. I mean, again, I think we're going to see this next year or two across the board in college athletics is going to be fascinating to watch, because we still don't know right now how this is going to evolve, or I guess depending on your viewpoint, devolve. But I mean, college athletics is going to continue to change. There's going to be some form of revenue sharing. Now, how far that extends and what it looks like for non-revenue or Olympic sports programs, again, I have no idea. I've read some things on what people are projecting could happen, but we're going to have to wait and see what actually does happen, and then how that plays out. I was reading a thing on Caitlin Clark today and this morning about the that they capped the WNBA salaries. And I think if I'm remembering the number right, I think as a first year player, like 80,000 is what you can get. Well,
you made that.
I mean, so you're going to have some people, like I think some of the big time college basketball programs may benefit, where the guys that had been one and done, it's like, you know what, I'll stick around and play for 3 or 4 years and make good money here, develop my game, develop my reputation, and again, make potentially comparable or even better money in probably rare cases, but then what you would get in the NBA. And certainly in some of these sports, for some of these athletes, that is going to be the opportunity that is there. It's like, well, yeah, I could go professional in this sport or that, or I could make more money and retain my.
Now again, what percentage of athletes is that? This is where we always get into our.
It's not going to be a high percentage,
2-3%
but there's
of the
going
athletes.
to be guys. There's going to be guys at Penn State Wrestling that are going to be like, yeah, could go UFC or could try to win another national title here, be part of something special. And again, I don't know what the amounts are that are out there.
That's where I'm at.
It could be pretty significant.
That's where I'm at with Starachi. He has the ability to do something that no one in that sport has ever even had the opportunity, and most likely never will have the opportunity.
Correct.
And that if that doesn't entice you, I don't know. Because it's not like you want to go fight, that's fine, but you're allowed to go fight. And you can still do this.
Yeah.
You can go make money and still do this. Like, I think that at the end of the day, he has to sit back and say, okay, I have this opportunity to be. I just go back to the used to be 4 flags. Now there's 6, right? Of all the top wrestlers that were 4-time national champions. They are heralded in that sport.
There's 7 now.
Absolutely, 7 now. Okay, they are absolutely heralded. They are. And then he has the opportunity to be above that. That in itself, man. I mean, you could sit there and say, when you and I were in school, like, okay, well, you know what? You got people at home who need some money. I'm broke. I did this. I just need to move on with my life and go on. But he can make that type of cash. He can go do the MMA fighting and still go possibly. I mean, that's what's crazy to me is that he still has an opportunity to do and go get it and compete for a 5th.
Yeah.
And that's amazing. Just absolutely amazing. And I just don't understand how it's not, unless he's playing the slow play, which is probably the right way to do it, and get a little need out there and get some money raised, and let's build the money up here a little bit and get this man paid a whole bunch to see if he can set an all-time record. Because I don't think you were saying it's never going to happen again.
No.
I mean, they're never going to have this. I mean, I think even now they're looking back at this COVID, said, the extra year, they were like, oh, well, we really screwed this up.
Yes.
We weren't really thinking straight at that point. So you will never, ever, no one will ever have this opportunity. And that's amazing to me. And I think that, I mean, just imagine the endorsement he could make on that. He'd be up there like with Caitlin Clark, and she has transcended sports. She has crossed over.
No question about it.
I mean, when I go to a bar or I talk to my families and my brothers, and they're literally everybody's talking about this basketball game last night. That has transcended the sport. Yeah. That is a crossover. That is unbelievable and amazing. And I think Starachi has that ability to be that transcendent guy, to be like, hey, I'm like, Cale Sanders is my head coach. He did not win 5 national titles.
Right.
That's amazing. I think that's why he goes back, but I think that's my opinion. But I mean, there's everybody. But then again, I've often said this too. I was here 4.5 years, and I was ready to get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
As much as you love college, and I moved back here 10 years after, did all that, I was done. Everybody's done 4 or 5 years in. It's tough. It's time to move on. Time to take your next step. So we'll see. He has an important decision, but my feelings there. But I also would understand.
Yeah.
What's your? I mean, are you allowed to have a feel on it, or do you want to have a feel about it? Like,
I mean, yes, I'm allowed, and I to be honest with you, it'll sound like a cop out, but I mean, I really can. I can see it going either way. And even, I actually had a conversation with somebody the other day about, well, and again, I can argue this either way. It's like, well, if he does make the Olympic team, then, there's no way he comes back. And then I had somebody else say, well, if he doesn't make the Olympic team, there's no way he comes back, because then he's going to feel like he has to go all in to get where he wants to be. I don't know that that's necessarily how he's looking at it. And I do think what happens here with the trials and this summer will have an impact. As you said, at the end of the day, the thing is, like, he can go win Olympic gold and then come back and wrestle again next year. He has mentioned a couple of times he is not enamored with taking classes. I know there are some other things going on with him where I think wanting to get a stable income coming in is going to be important. But as you said, the difference now is you can do that while you're competing at the collegiate level. And so For me, and again, me trying to put myself in the shoes of an elite athlete is quite the stretch indeed. But if it were me, that draw to be, as you said, the only person who would ever be able to achieve this, for me, that would be too big of a draw.
That's where I'm at.
I think I would not be able to turn that down. But part of why Carter is where he's at and who he is there's just a different type of competitive drive. And it's not necessarily like an accumulation of titles. It's what's the next great challenge. And so, one, he doesn't love the academic component of school. And two, I don't know that in his mind that there's any kind of great challenge to coming back collegiately. Like I think to some degree, and I think to a large degree, he'd be right in thinking, listen, I've already proven and done all I can in terms of collegiate competition. Like that, there's nobody there. Yeah. Now, could there be somebody that emerges next year that is a great challenger threat? Yeah, I mean that's the great thing about this sport, at all sports for that matter, is just when you think, all right, well, this guy is clearly the best. Well, here comes the next guy that just might be a little better. Now, I don't have anybody in mind. I'm not saying that is the case next year, and I'm certainly not suggesting that Carter would be running away from anybody. That it would be just the opposite. I think the one thing that would maybe draw him back would be, hey, this guy is even better than you. Well, let me show that. So I don't know. And the thing, it is great for him that he has the opportunity. I do think, the NCAA badly screwed this up because there is a natural cycle to college athletics. And it is that, 4 years of eligibility over 5 years. And it really has. It has screwed up that cycle. And it's thrown a lot of things off, and I think made it very difficult. I think it's part of
some
why
people suffered.
You have so many guys in the transfer portal is that cycle did get disrupted, and there are guys that are not getting the opportunity at their what would be the normal time of the cycle. And truthfully, that's going to be the situation if Carter does come back next year. Like you have an Alex Facundo waiting in the wings, and now you have a couple of guys coming in with Zach Ryder and Joe Seeley. Again, that flow is going to be disrupted, and so part of it is that there's got to be a conversation too with Carter and the coaches about I don't know that Carter's going to want to go full-time college student mode, right? So, what are the coaches okay with? They've got to have conversations with the younger
over
guys.
2 semesters.
Yep, and you've got to have conversations with the guys that are waiting in the wings there at 174. Like, there's a lot there that you're having to juggle and figure out.
He has to be in the school in the fall and in the spring.
I believe that's true. I don't know. I haven't gotten. I keep meaning to call somebody about this, and I haven't.
Yeah.
I don't know if. And if somebody knows and wants to pass it along, and hey, idiot, but I don't know if he can take like a couple of semesters off and then enroll in the spring and do whatever the minimum 9 credits or whatever.
He has graduated already
and work toward that. He has not yet. I think
he's only been here for 4, but Brooks has been here for 4.5, right?
They've both been here for 5 years. Yeah.
Okay, so if he the way football worked with us was if you were a graduate student, in your last year of eligibility, you had to take 6 credits of graduate level courses.
Yeah.
Whether you got a 0.0 or a 4.0 on them, it didn't matter because it wasn't you were already a college graduate in the eyes of the NCAA. So yours definitely. See, that's weird. Because I said it's different for us because we had to do one semester. So you could plan out. You go to the school in the summertime and stuff like that for 4 straight years. You can graduate. That's why these guys are graduating in 3.5 years now.
Yeah. And
the standards, not standards, but the numbers of credits needed to graduate are much lower than when we were there, Jeffrey. I'd be interested to see. I mean, if he has to go to school to both months, or could he take the fall semester off? And then I also think the other thing, Jeffrey, is the online college. If he doesn't want to go to school or go to class every day and this and that, you can still do the online thing and just be fine. Do it at your leisure. I know guys do that. I think Caleb Williams has done that at USC. I don't think he said that he never stepped foot on the USC campus. That's what I was told. I think that was him. They were talking about that all his classes were online, and he was living in a mansion downtown LA in Beverly Hills. Not a mansion, but a condo or whatnot. So these are things that we don't have to worry about, Jeff.
We'll take
first world problems, buddy.
Take a break here. We'll talk some March Madness and the Final Four when we come back. It is the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show. We are at Quaker Steak and Lube on this rainy, dreary Tuesday. And again, we're coming back with much more. We'll get some basketball talk and, yes, some more Buccos talk as we roll on.
Coast into fall with a new Kia from Lion Country Kia. Right now, get a 24 Kia Seltos for 5.25% APR for up to 48 months. A new Sportage plug-in hybrid at 0.9% APR. Check out our 23 Sorrento hybrid for as low as 4.5% APR. And don't forget, all 2023 and 2024 Kias come with a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. Stop in and meet with one of our sales experts today and coast into fall at Lion Country Kia. We want to see you in a Kia.
Since retiring, I have spent my time searching the countryside for the hottest wings in America. I always seem to end up disappointed. You call these hot? Back off, Luigi.
Mamma mia.
Your hands it, busboy. Your wings suck. I knew I should have stuck with Quaker Steak's triple atomic wings. You think I'm tough enough?
The Center Hall Farm Store has been serving Center County and beyond for well over a half century. A small family business, the Center Hall Farm Store specializes in animal nutrition and manufactures its feed fresh using local ingredients. Get the best in horse, cow, pig, chicken, and bird feeds. If you're not already a customer, stop in and see why so many of your neighbors are. The Center Hall Farm Store at 110 West Allison Street in Center Hall, or call us at 814-364-1393.
Sioka Toyota of Williamsport invites you to stop in today or check us out online. We have the smart path to your next Toyota, like the all-new Crown, BZ4X, the all-new Grand Highlander, Corolla Cross Hybrids, Sequoias, and more. Over 100 new Toyotas here and on the way. Don't make a $1,000 mistake. Choose Sioka Toyota of Williamsport and see the Sioka dealership's difference. Buy or reserve yours today and see for yourself why Sioka Toyota is the only stop you need for your next new car. Sioka Toyota, it just feels right.
Ready to be part of something bigger? Come pave the road to success at Glen O'Haw-Baker and discover a career where your hard work and determination can build a bigger, better future. Our team believes we can build a stronger future together. Join us at Glen O'Haw-Baker, where we value teamwork on the field and on the job. Go to GOHcareers.com to apply. GOHcareers.com. And best of luck to all the Center County sports teams all season long from everyone at Glen O'Haw-Baker.
With a Timber Kids savings account, you can start to save money, earn prizes, and teach your kids the value of savings. It's easy as 1, 2, 3. Building futures is what we do at TFCU.
You really need to belong to a credit union. You belong at TFCU, Timberland Federal Credit Union, a credit union you can grow with.
The Goon and Ironhead.
And we're walking back in here on this Tuesday as the beloved Pirates, dear Goon, continue to make their way toward the National League pennant here in 2024.
Just pushing forward. This is yesterday's game, right? This is the new game right now. I don't need
Final Four. Yeah, there's no game today. The Final Four, dear Goon, just as I suspected, exactly the 4 teams that I thought would be there. I don't know why you were doubting me when I was telling you North Carolina State and Alabama would be there. You thought Purdue, what?
I have 3 of the 4.
Oh, yeah?
I actually do. I swear to God.
Who was the one that you didn't have?
I did not have
Bama or
NC State.
Okay.
I didn't have
That's impressive.
I didn't
You
have
had Bama.
Shaq leading NC State into the
How about it?
or I should say like it looks like Casey Hampton out there playing basketball. Did you see all that stuff? He's getting looks for the NFL.
But
I'm interested as heck to see.
He was on Dan Patrick today. He's like, I don't know where
Yeah.
that stuff is starting. Nobody's contacted me. I'm not looking at the NFL. I don't think the NFL is looking at me. It's funny how that stuff.
I wonder how big he is though, because the
going.
problem with hoops is they are all very, very skinny men. Like LeBron James, when you watch him on basketball court, he is taller than me.
Yeah.
He does not look that big on a basketball court because everybody else is 6'4" to 6'10".
Zach,
he doesn't
still
look
looks tall.
that big. He really doesn't look that like at that. But if he walked in this room right now, he would have to duck through that door, and you'd be like, "What in the heck is that?"
Yeah.
So Big Boy Burns, I don't know how big he is because he's playing against dudes that are really thin. That's what I mean, I know he's a thick dude. There's no denying that. But I love his game, man. It's just like playing hoops with your uncle back in the yard back in the day. He's scooping in hook shots, laughing.
Yeah,
big old gap in his teeth. He's funny.
Yeah,
it's been fun to watch them. Plus, they're beating all the blue bloods too, so
That's
even better
fun,
on
too.
that one.
Yep.
But the other one, Alabama, I just had that. Yeah, I was just one of those weird, like, oh, who do I have left? And you're like, oh, I have Alabama. Wow. But I have been waiting for this Purdue UConn matchup, and that was with the big boys, because I want to see Zach Edey match up against a guy who's 7'2". He's 7'4", and the guy from UConn, I forget his name already, real good player, but he's 7'2", and he can move. So I'm interested to see what they would do, and that is they're going to have to bring Edey out of the defensive, but they're going to put the big guy who actually has outside game. Edey really doesn't have a 3-point game, so what we're going to see if they match up in the final game, that's the only time they can match up.
Yeah.
If they do match up in the final, that's what we're going to see the NBA worth of Zach Edey. And I have said, like, there's a guy who's 7'4", he could change the game, but the NBA is a different species, man. Joel Embiid is the only like true center that's in the league, but he sits out by the 3-point line. So you're going to bring that 7'4" guy out there to cover him. He's not a defensive line. He's no longer a great defender then.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to see what's going to happen with him having to go into. Hopefully, we get to see it. Him going against another big out there, and to see if they can play, to see how he does, because he went in the NBA draft last year and he dropped out, and I was like, why would he drop out unless they was just like, how is he not the number 1 overall pick? But obviously he wasn't, or he would have not come back, right?
Well, I mean, yeah, presumably.
We all love college, but I get it. But we're all not fighting. If you're going to be guaranteed $150 million in the NBA, you're going to go to the NBA.
Yeah.
As the first overall pick. I don't care if you love college as much as anybody, but that is fun. I mean, yeah, I know you didn't do a pool this year, you said, right?
Correct.
First time in a long time.
Yep.
But did you catch up with some games this weekend? You really haven't watched.
I watched a good bit of the Purdue game and watched. Did not actually see much of the Connecticut Illinois game.
At one point, Illinois had 3 points in the second.
I did watch NC State Duke. That was the one I probably saw the most of. Saw all of the second half of that and a good bit of the probably last 8 minutes or so of the first half of that.
What's the NC State remind you of is Jim Valvano's.
Somewhere it's
smiling. It's the same thing all over again. The same
smiling down on his
the same university. It's amazing what's going on there.
It is. It is one of the truly great stories.
For those who don't know, if they did not win the ACC tournament, they were not going to get elected into the NCAA playoffs.
Yeah, had to win five.
They had to win 5 games in 5 days. So me and you sitting there saying, "Oh, well, Penn State or whoever can never win the Big Ten going 5 games." They won the ACC that way. They went through some pretty damn good teams too.
Sure did. No, it's amazing. Lady Lion basketball team sees its season come to an end. Just could not get its offense going at all against Villanova. Way below their average point total. And they played well defensively. Lady Lions did. It kept them in the game. But, man, they just could not buy a bucket for large chunks of the game. And Villanova holds them off, advances to the inaugural WBIT title game against Illinois, which handled Washington State. But Penn State finishes the year at 22-13. Clearly a good step forward for the program. Had a lot of transfers that contributed mightily this season. And that is the one thing, Goon, it's just such a different day and age in college athletics that it's like, well, yep, they lose a lot of talent, and they do. And normally you'd be like, all right, well, now they got to go into rebuilding. Well, not necessarily. Like the rebuilding now can be done in a couple of weeks via the transfer portal. So we'll see. I think the style of play that Penn State had would be appealing for kids looking to, if they're unhappy with their current situation or they're just looking, for a different opportunity. I would think what Penn State did this year would hold a lot of appeal for folks that, hey, you know what, let me go help that program take the next big step and get into the NCAA tournament. And I think I could be that person. And it is just amazing how different, again, the college sports world is now when it comes to looking at things from one season to the next. Because the other part of it is, well, how many of these kids that, were here this year that have eligibility remaining, how many of them are actually coming back next year? Like, you don't know any of that right now. So you just have to kind of wait and see. And you can't make projections. I mean, well, you can. And again, sports fans will. It's kind of what we do. But half of the projections you make may be wrong because, well, that kid actually isn't going to be at Penn State next year, or that kid is going to be surpassed and actually supplanted by these transfers that are coming in.
It is good to refill and replenish the cupboard, because when coaches leave, and again, I have always said the whole reason for the transfer portal was when coaches would leave, that the guys who committed to that coach, they're stuck there. So I understand the transfer portal in that regard, not 4 times in 4 years or 5 times in 4 or 5 years. I can't stand that. Now, is it good for the player? I guess, because they could pick up and say, hey, I'm not playing here. I think I might have a better shot playing over here. I don't know. But is it good for the game? I mean, Christian Leitner said last week, he goes, it's so bad for the game. I mean, you're talking about a guy who went to Duke for 4 years, went to four Final Fours is what he did. I mean, Chris Slater might be one of the best college basketball players in the history of the game. And he said, we got to get rid of that because, you can't build team continuity. You can't build teamwork. You can't build this and that if you have a whole new team every year.
Well, so I think part of this will be addressed with the coming collective bargaining agreement and the revenue sharing. I do think part of what, and I don't know, like so many things, we got to see what the details bring. But I do think there is going to be a component, whether it's by conference, just by Division I programs, or by school. By and large, kids are going to be, when they sign, it's like, yep, you're going to get this amount of money from our school, so long as, and there's going to be certain things that you have to do. And one of them is going to be, you've got to be here for 3 years or whatever it may be, or you must pay back this amount. Like there's going to be stuff written in there contractually where it's like, yep, you can leave, but then you need to, either pay back or I don't know. Again, there's going to be details that need to be worked out, but I do think it's not going to be just, hey, I want to leave, I leave. Like
and take my money and go.
And the schools will be able to prevent that because, again, now it is a working contract. It happens all the time. If I leave my job, depending on the job, it's like, well, now you got to pay back, this, or you don't get those perks, whatever it may be, or the new company that's hiring you away has to. All of that stuff, I think, is going to come into play here, for better or worse, for college athletics. So I do think you're going to see some tempering, at least, of where, again, we just have
it goes back to what I said
flooded every year.
Before this even happened, what I said 5 years ago when we started this show. Give the players a little bit of money, but then give them a contract that when they finish their year successfully and they graduate from freshman to sophomore to junior to senior, and you compete at the Division I level, there's an annuity money at the end of the year. When you do graduate, that's your money. So you pay these kids $5,000 a month, $10,000 a month, or this and that. Just throw the number out there, and then at the end, there's that little pot of gold down there. If you do compete, for 4 years, and you do graduate from the university, you held up your end of the bargain, and that was play a varsity sport, and you graduated, this little pot of gold is for you.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a dumb man, Jenny, but I'm not a smart man either, Jenny. But there's a lot of ways to do it. And the kid at Iowa, the Alabama thing, did we talk about that?
No.
The big old lineman from Iowa City, he commits from Iowa.
Yeah.
2 weeks before National Commitment Day, and he goes to Alabama, becomes a freshman All-American. Caden Proctor's his name.
Yeah.
Leaves, goes to Alabama, becomes a freshman All-American. January comes, he transfers to the transfer portal. He goes to Iowa. So second semester, he's at Iowa. He signed a $100,000 NIL deal. They gave him $100,000. He entered the transfer portal again and transferred back to Alabama.
Yeah.
That's insulting and embarrassing for the Iowa program, one, but college football in general, that they can do nothing about that.
Yeah.
That is robbery. I'm sorry, but it's stupidity, because that is what they set up.
Yeah.
They set it up this way. They rule it this way, and I'm glad that might be the straw that breaks the camel's back. That's how I see it.
Yeah. Well, the schools are not going to. They are going to rectify this again. I think one way or another via contracts, because you can't have situations like that and try to build a program where you think you have an answer, and then it's like, well, no, you don't actually have an answer. So
if I recall, 3 years ago, LSU backup quarterback did the same thing.
But when you have collective bargaining, again, that's where, okay, now it is a job.
Now
and now these are the demands of the job, and you're still going to have some ability to move, but the in essence, it'll be the equivalent of the non-competes in the broadcasting industry, where it's like, well, yeah, you can go somewhere else, you just can't go. And again, we may go back to what, and I don't know any of this. Again, this is all to be determined, but we may go back to, the conferences may get together and say, listen, if you do transfer, it can't be to another conference school. And again, they'll be able to write this up now, because it'll be contracts that you are willingly entering into, right? And some of the stuff will be able to be negotiated. And again, to a large degree, it'll be collectively.
You just got to sit back and laugh at it sometimes. That the reason why this is not negotiated and contracted in, because the universities are not involved. They're not allowed to do this stuff with the players.
Well, that'll change with this.
Exactly.
Because
there's nobody monitoring these things.
Well, that was another in the long list of mistakes made by the
I think the list would be a lot
NCAA.
shorter if you say, what has actually the NCAA done well in the last 30 years?
That is a very short list.
Yeah.
Very short indeed.
Insane, crazy. The whole aspect, the whole thought of it, I just can't fathom, believe, understand. You know, I get it. I have to say it again. I say it every day. I'm happy as hell. There's no one happier than me that the players are getting paid. They deserve it. We deserved it. We never got it. These kids are deserving it. Now it's pay for play. That's where the line's got to be drawn, because the collective bargaining agreement at least protects a guy like me. You know, I didn't start my first two and a half years, so I'd be making nothing. And then, when I do get the starting tackle job type of thing, and, was all the money already gone? You got to take care of the quarterback, the non-quarterback, non-star players. They're the ones that I've always worried about. I almost sound like a socialist talking about it, saying we all deserve the same type of thing, all chickens and pots and stuff like that. But I do. There is something about that, and that is protecting all of the players type of thing, and not paying, 3% of the college football or college sports in general. Is there a jealousy between Iowa players about Caitlin Clark having all this national attention and national NIL money? I don't think there is. But it's her job to go out and get that.
Doesn't seem like it, but yeah.
I'm sure that there are people. We lost Kanye on the basketball team this year because of there was a jealousy aspect of it, that he wasn't making as much money as some other guys at our team, and he got mad about that and just got up and left. These things need to be fixed and addressed. And again, we're talking about NIL, and so we're taking the show as usual. So, all right.
Oh, all good.
Oh, wow. Oh, there we go.
We've got.
Wow.
We're gonna have
right.
big money,
That's our NIL money, Jeff.
donated to us. Oh wait, he wants to donate it to an honest, serious, and trustworthy person.
In pounds.
We're
too.
out.
Man.
We're out.
Wow.
Oh well, we almost
He's
had
paid by pound. We're gonna win that. We're gonna win that one.
We got a Tennessean list. I've got to get Nashville is at the top of my list right now.
That's our boy Danny. He's down in Tennessee now.
Yep, Tennessee is at the or Nashville is at the top of my
bucket list.
At least places that I have to get to. I just have to get down and visit.
It's getting to that point. I've been there 3 times now. It's getting.
I've never been.
It's like, holy crap.
Yeah, I got to get there.
Look at it like this. Where else in this country other than New Orleans, I'll say Key West and Nashville, Tuesday afternoon at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and then people are just getting hammered every day. 365 days a year, there's a party.
There's lots of places. That's a much longer. That's a much longer list than you think it is.
America, every day, 365 is a party.
Yeah,
and
I think it's a much longer list than what you're thinking.
What I'm thinking is that I'm talking like it's Bourbon Street with people, thousands of people walking up and down the streets, party buses going by, bachelorette parties going through. It's absolutely amazing, and it's nonstop.
Yeah,
and it is absolutely insane. And people I know that live down there are like, it's getting to be too much. It's really getting overrun here. People moving there too, and the infrastructure that they have for the city is not big. Not big enough for what's going on down there with the growth down there. But yes, I've been there 3 or 4 times, and absolutely unbelievable every time.
You are listening to WFXS State College, Pleasant Gap. It is the Goon and Ironhead show here on a Tuesday. We'll take a break here and be back with much more in mere minutes.
Coast into fall with a new Kia from Lion Country Kia. Right now, get a 24 Kia Seltos for 5.25% APR for up to 48 months. A new Sportage plug-in hybrid at 0.9% APR. Check out our 23 Sorrento hybrid for as low as 4.5% APR. And don't forget, all 2023 and 2024 Kias come with a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. Stop in and meet with one of our sales experts today and coast into fall at Lion Country Kia. We want to see you in a Kia.
Since retiring, I have spent my time searching the countryside for the hottest wings in America. I always seem to end up disappointed. You call these hot? Back off, Luigi.
Mamma mia.
You can How's it, busboy? Your wings suck! I knew I should have stuck with Quaker Steak's triple atomic wings. You think I'm tough enough?
The Center Hall Farm Store has been serving Center County and beyond for well over a half century. A small family business, the Center Hall Farm Store specializes in animal nutrition and manufactures its feed fresh using local ingredients. Get the best in horse, cow, pig, chicken, and bird feeds. If you're not already a customer, stop in and see why so many of your neighbors are. The Center Hall Farm Store at 110 West Allison Street in Center Hall, or call us at 814-364-1393.
Sioka Toyota of Williamsport invites you to stop in today or check us out online. We have the smart path to your next Toyota, like the all-new Crown, BZ4X, the all-new Grand Highlander, Corolla Cross Hybrids, Sequoias, and more. Over 100 new Toyotas here and on the way. Don't make a $1,000 mistake. Choose Sioka Toyota of Williamsport and see the Sioka dealership's difference. Buy or reserve yours today and see for yourself why Sioka Toyota is the only stop you need for your next new car. Sioka Toyota, it just feels right.
Ready to be part of something bigger? Come pave the road to success at Glen Baker and discover a career where your hard work and determination can build a bigger, better future. Our team believes we can build a stronger future together. Join us at Glen Baker, where we value teamwork on the field and on the job. Go to GOHcareers.com to apply. GOHcareers.com. And best of luck to all the Center County sports teams all season long from everyone at Glen Baker.
With a Timber Kids savings account, you can start to save money, earn prizes, and teach your kids the value of savings. It's easy as 1, 2, 3. Building futures is what we do at TFCU.
You really need to belong to a credit union. You belong at TFCU, Timberland Federal Credit Union, a credit union you can grow with.
The Goon and Ironhead.
And we welcome you back into the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead shows. I stuffed my face in the break.
You continue on. I could yap here for a little bit. I was impressed. The head got up, and I was like, "Oh, he had to go to the bathroom." And now he's already into the.
The all-you-can-eat wing buffet has started, and I decided I needed to partake.
So Ironhead drop kicked a 7-year-old kid trying to get an Arizona ranch wing.
Well, you don't stand right in front of me when come on, kid.
What are you doing taking all the drums? He smacked him right in his face. Absolutely, man.
Lesson learned.
Yep. So you're coming up with the best time of the year, Ironhead. And you know what? We haven't even talked football in how many weeks now?
Well, we talked some last week.
You know what I mean. No, just in general, just like, wow, just, the whole Penn State spring football thing. I've always said that Joe kept a very tight lid on the program, and really then not really anybody knew what was going on in the program, right? I think Franklin's actually even more.
Oh, I would agree with you.
It's crazy. I mean, people are asking me, what's the team look like this year? I'm like, I really don't know. I really don't have any idea. I don't sit there and say I don't have the ability to go over and watch a practice here and there, but that's not my thing. I didn't like to practice. Why the hell would I want to go watch a practice? You know what I mean? It's like going and watching conditioning drills. Like, I don't want to do this. This is horrible. But, we're coming up on blue white in 2 weeks. You haven't heard the I word come out of anywhere, have you? Injury. I haven't heard anything.
No, it's been pretty quiet on that front. So
and the blue white is early this year.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff going on up top of that hill in the month of April, man. You really think about that. You got all these different concerts going on. You got the Olympic wrestling trials. You got the blue white game. Then you have the outdoor country concert at Beaver Stadium a week later. Oh my goodness!
The $100 parking.
Yep. They came out, right?
Yep.
Oh, what were some of the people's reactions?
There are some people that seem less than enamored with the cost of the parking for the Beaver Stadium concert with Luke Combs.
I think some people said that they actually spent more on a parking pass than they did for a ticket. And actually, I don't believe, because I thought the tickets were pretty damn expensive.
I don't know about.
We're out of town, so we never even researched going at all. So I don't really have much. Actually, I got in trouble this weekend.
But wow.
How many different
that's not a surprise to
That's
this
true.
veteran camper.
like this? There's Luke Combs. There's Luke Bryan. There's Brian Luke. There's like all these different 99 different like country music guys, and they all confuse me.
Oh boy.
Who's playing in the country concert? Luke Bryan?
Luke Combs.
Damn it, see? I don't know. Are you going? Are you planning on going up to that?
No, I'll be with you.
Oh, that is that weekend. Okay, you're right.
Yeah,
You're right. I got you.
Yeah, we're out of town.
Oh, you saved $100 parking. There you go.
Well, yeah, and it's one of those things. I mean, people are going to complain about it,
Gotta do it.
be upset about it, but yeah, I don't know how many people are actually, and I think there'll be a lot of threats. Well, I'm not even going then. I will be curious to see what and listen, Penn State didn't do this in a vacuum. That I guarantee you, they have gone around and all right, what are other schools that do things like this? What are they getting? And I mean, I haven't looked at it, but I guarantee you, this is not out of line with what other schools are doing with their outdoor stadium concerts. I mean, I just guarantee you that's the case. I haven't looked into it, so I guess I shouldn't guarantee, but I know without knowing that's Penn State didn't just arbitrarily come up with these numbers, right? So, and it's one of those things where, and it's just like the concert tickets themselves, right? Like I've complained about that, but if it's an act I want to see, I'm like, yeah, I'm not happy about it. That seems very high, bordering on outrageous, and here you go. Right. So I don't know. Now, is there a point at which there's a breaking point, and does it put more demands on winning with the athletic venues and the athletic teams? You know, if you're going to charge for parking and you're going to up the ticket prices, there's no question.
Sure.
And you know, at some point, if the football program starts to lose, or even if they're winning, right, there is a point. I don't know what that point is, but there is a point where, all right, fans are going to say, well, the NCAA wrestling this year. You said there's a group of guys that are, I think it's fair to say, well off, and it's like, yep, we'll pay for the suites. We'll get it figured out. And this year they're like, nope, that increase is too much.
Outrageous.
And so again, different folks are going to decide at different points. Right now, again, people are complaining for sure. And again, not just at Penn State. This is across the board, professional sports, college sports. It's like, man, this is too expensive. But they're paying. Beaver Stadium is full. It's sold out. Well, if not full, it's at least sold out. And and this is where I do think it is a difficult balance, right? If you are like Pat Kraft or any athletic director, right? Like they know that this is a strain for the average fan, right? Like getting season tickets is not possible now for a lot of the I'll say the casual or the everyday fans. Like they can't afford it. It's like, yeah, I love Penn State football, want to go up there, can't do it with the fees for the Nittany Lion Club, and then on top of that the season ticket prices and the parking. So you pick a game or two or however you do it. So I do think that most schools and most athletic directors recognize that, and I don't think they're just like ignoring it. Well, too bad, screw them, we don't need the everyday fan. Like, I don't think that's what's going on at all. But they're also looking, and especially at a place like Penn State, right? You are trying to support 31 varsity sports programs. Well, guess what? That's not getting cheaper either, because now you're providing more food for all of those student athletes. You're providing more opportunities for all of those student athletes. The clothing, everything that goes into it. all of those costs
Scholarships?
are going up. Yes, all of those costs are going up, and you're trying to keep up with the facilities, right? Like, wow, yeah, we built a nice facility 10 years ago, but I mean, my gosh, now look at these 3 new facilities in the conference. Like, we've got to, well, and fans, right? I mean, how many times do we hear, oh, James Franklin's making all this money and we're not even a top 4 team? Yeah, he's making all that money. It's the 11th highest paid coaching job in the country. And you're not satisfied with a top 11 finish. Well, guess what, gang?
Funny how that runs, isn't it?
Again, I get the frustration of the fan and I think in some cases the anger of the fan. I also get, as much as I can, I get it. You're the athletic director or you're involved in the athletic department. It's like, listen, we've got to keep all of this going, and we don't do that by giving free parking or giving.
Yep.
And so, where you strike that balance, I think is very difficult, and I think you're constantly looking and trying to figure out ways to make this work for everybody. But you've got to cater to the big money donors too, right? Like, you've got to give special perks to the folks that are giving the millions that allow the program. But yeah, they recognize they need the everyday fan. And it's getting more and more difficult, I think. I really do for the universities to accommodate the everyday fan and still meet all of the needs that their programs and their departments have.
And it's not specifically from the university at times.
No question.
Let's not talk about. We got to talk about the hotel room, the hotel costs down here.
Wow.
And then when people are going to lower prices on hotel rooms, when people stop coming, they keep on building more and more hotels here.
Yep.
They're not stopping. They're going to keep coming. They're not going away, man. So I have to ask this. I don't know. How many parking people do you need for 100,000 or say 70,000, 75,000 people? I mean, you're going to pay a lot of people. Okay, and I understand $100 is a lot of money. Now, I also have to say this, is that what is Luke Combs,
yeah.
what is he charging? Because
that I don't know.
Something happened. Well, not something. I mean, there's no album sales anymore. There's no CD sales. These guys are doing these. They have to go out and make their money. They're not getting these, right? They're just getting downloaded.
Well, no,
right?
Yeah, but they're getting money from that.
But not as much as they would if they had an album, the number 1 album, right? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that.
But these guys aren't cheap to have out there, and you want a good show out there.
Sure.
It's entertainment. It's just entertainment is what they're doing. And people are going to come there, and they're not just coming from State College. They're coming in. You don't have to pay the $100. You can park somewhere, you get a hotel room, and you can walk up the hill. That's fine.
Yeah,
that's okay. I mean, yes, it's outrageous, and I can't believe it's $100, but it is what it is. It's been set. It's not like they came up with that number out of the middle of nowhere. There's a lot of people they got to pay to work that show type of thing. They have to have X has got to equal Y. Y. They have to make all the numbers match up.
Yep.
Yeah, man. It's honest to God. I mean, I love Pat. We both love Pat. And that, by the way, it was a great article KO had talked about Pat the other day. Just an absolutely, and how much he's the best in the business type of thing. Good for him. That was great because Pat does deserve that. But could you imagine having Pat Kraft's job at where we're at
right now?
Where we're at in this NCAA world. I mean, not just football, not just basketball, the whole kit and caboodle.
Yep. It is a lot, just like we talk about the college coaches of any sport. You have so much on the plate right now. I mean, it's always been a tough job and you've always had a lot, but even more than ever. And again, I get, like, at least with football and basketball, you're getting well paid. I understand that, but there's also a tremendous amount of pressure, right? And there's more stuff than ever that you've got to keep track of. And I think most people genuinely are in this to try to help young people. I mean, I maybe I'm naive in that, but I really do. I think most coaches,
They're not doing
certainly
it for
at
the
the
money or
collegiate level. Well, I mean,
they want to do it for the money in the fan. They go to the NFL.
yes, and so I do think there's a genuine interest in trying to help young people find their way and give them the proper guidance. But even that is getting more difficult because I think there are more obstacles to getting a good message that hopefully most coaches are sending to those young people because, again, of all of the different entities now that are pulling at the student athletes while they're on campus. And again, there's always been some issues, right? There's always been some overzealous alumni or, other students that go too far, either in criticism or praise or whatever. But I mean, now you have people, again, more than ever, with money, with more on the line with the legalized gambling. As we've talked about, Goon, I do think that is one of the untold stories here that I think we will be finding out more about in the coming years is the ways that is impacting the game. And hopefully it's not impacting the integrity of the game, but there are people out there, right? I mean, there have always been people out there trying to influence in different ways, whether it's through coaches, referees, players, whatever, but more so now, again, than ever. So you're trying to regulate and monitor and sort your way through all of this stuff. And as we've, talked and kind of kidded about it over the years, all of this while you're relying on these 18 to 22-year-old males
kids
making the good decisions to help you in your program.
Yep. Well, that's the thing. That's the biggest thing that I go into coaching now, and that is that you are recruiting your kids every day, every year to keep them all together. Because all it is, one wrong thing happens, and it's like, oh, I'm out of here. I'm quitting because it's so easy for them to leave right now, and that's insane. So
and it's not just the kids; it's the parents now too.
Well, always been the parents.
Well,
I shouldn't say always,
but I'm saying even more because now the kid may be perfectly happy, and if mom and dad are getting calls saying, "Hey, Junior comes over here," right? So now you're having to, and to some degree, yes, always, but
I tell the story
even more so now
with a lot of my friends, and that is that I was in the college coaching ranks. This was probably the 2001 era, 2000 era time. Not here. I was coaching down south, and I came up here for the last game of the year, and I had dinner with some coaches, and they were like, "Hey, what's it like at Division III level?" And I said, the only difference is, I sometimes got to deal with the parents. And then one of the coaches looked at me, and then he says, "Yeah, well, we have the same problem here." I said, "You're kidding me, right?" He goes, "Dude, they want to talk to Joe now." And I just sat there, and I looked at him, and I looked at, it was a girlfriend I was with, and I'm going to say, I could tell you this. I looked at her, and I said, I don't think I could show my face in the locker room if I found that my mom or dad called Joe Paterno to complain about my playing time or this or that. And then the people I talked to, all my friends, and they're like, "Oh, there's no way I would be there." But our parents knew not to do that.
Yep.
I mean, come on, man. So I had this funny story last night watching the Phillies-Reds game last night, and
how'd that go?
Not good. Great first inning. So
Pirates are 5-0.
Who
Did
is
you know that?
The De La Cruz is obviously the National League Central with Pittsburgh. Is that what you guys are in?
Yeah.
You guys have cornered the market on 6'6" Latino shortstops.
That is a fact.
It's unbelievable. So this De La Cruz, whatever, he's playing last night, and he steals third base. And I'm looking at this, like, they show the batter, and then they show this, like, you can see the fans in the back because it's HD. And there's 4 dudes sitting there high-fiving. They're all wearing Phillies gear, high-fiving, yeah. And I'm like, they had a parlay on him stealing a base.
Yeah.
I guarantee you that's what they were cheering about.
Yes.
It's funny.
I'm sure
it's
you're
like,
right.
Wow. That's how much it's everywhere. again, like I said, I was in college. I would get phone calls every once in a while from people, and I had no idea what they were talking about, but I would just answer them honestly and this and that, and they make their decision because I was not making the decision for them type of thing. But, I mean, I cannot imagine it now. I mean, if we're going to go down that route again, Jeff, it's crazy what these kids are going to go through nowadays. Crazy. Because you got kids on campus who are sitting there saying, you killed my parlay last night, man. How do you miss? I needed another 3 out of you last night. But as Marco would say, he come into Philadelphia and then maybe MF and the Packer players and the Cowboy players, and they would scream, "Oh, but you're okay, Brett," or yelling at Favre or whatever. "You're my quarterback on fantasy. Don't F me up. Don't F it over. Don't screw it up." And then he was just like,
yeah.
One guy's telling you to go after your mother. One guy's then the other guy, the guy they're with, you're his fantasy quarterback, so you're his favorite player. It was just crazy. But now put that in perspective on a college campus of these kids who all have these gambling accounts now, where they could literally they're looking and talking to these guys who people are gambling on. Like these, it's surreal at times to think about.
Yep. It is. And I don't know how you go about truly trying to address it now. Again, as we've talked about, the amount of monitoring that goes on is significant, but no matter how much monitoring they do, it's not going to be enough. Like, there's no way you can keep tabs because everything is bet on. And again, there are some stuff that, yes, it'll raise eyebrows and it's, whoa, all right, we got to look into this. But how much stuff is going on that doesn't raise eyebrows, that you have people that are smart enough? It's like, well, no, it's just, a couple $1,000s here or there isn't raising eyebrows. Well, a couple $1,000s here or there over a couple of year period, monthly, that can add up pretty quickly. And again, it is very, very difficult to monitor, right? To
this
accurately.
Is stemming from the NCAA saying they want to get rid of the parlays involving. It was not a parlay. It was individual stuff like that, like having personal stuff parlayed. What's the word I'm looking for? Like they had, your wide receiver has to have 7 or more catches. The NCAA is trying to get rid of those individual parlay type of things.
Correct.
For their
the prop
athletes,
bets.
the prop bets. They can do that, I think. But it has to be okayed by a lot of people. And it starts in Las Vegas. But then there's going to be some renegade people who are going to say, "Oh, we have them. We have them. If that's what you're interested in."
Yes.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and how are you going? I don't know enough about the legality of it. I don't know at this point how college athletics can step in. I mean, and I'd be supportive of it. I don't know how you can step in now and say, "Yep, we allow gambling and we allow this and that, but this is where we draw the line. You can't bet on this." If somebody wants to bet that Caitlin Clark's going to score 30 points in the national championship game or the semifinal game, how are you going to? I don't know how you can prevent it. Now, maybe there are things, and I know some states have you already can't. But I'm saying if you are a state that allows prop bets, I don't know how you say, okay, you can't do it for college athletics. You can only do it for professional, because then there's going to be some sports that it's like, well, okay, what about like the Senior Bowl? Is that? I don't know. There's just so many different
I have
elements to this that I don't know.
Forever, even to this day, it is not legal for a human being or whatever in the state of Nevada to bet on a collegiate game in Nevada. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You cannot place a bet on UNLV basketball.
Right.
You cannot bet a dollar on Nevada University on anything in the state of Nevada.
Right.
So they can regulate that. And then why do they do that, Jeff?
Well, the state can, but I'm saying I don't know
these guys who live in Las Vegas.
Yeah, the state can, but I don't know that the NCAA or like the Big Ten commissioner. I don't think the Big Ten commissioner
they have to go to the casinos and say, please don't do that. So
correct. They can ask, but I'm saying I don't think at the end of the day, and if you're a casino, even if you respect and again, I don't know what the amount of money is that's bet on this stuff, but I'm guessing it's pretty substantial. I don't know if those folks are, well, we hear your suggestion and understand your concern and go pound salt because we've got millions of dollars coming in. I mean, I don't know, and maybe they are more receptive to it than I'm thinking they will, and maybe it's not that much of their overall take. I mean, I don't know. I don't know enough about how any of that stuff really works. But
the state of Nevada had enough gumption and enough sensibility in their heads.
Yeah.
30 years ago to say, you know what? It's illegal to bet on any sports in the state of Nevada. Okay. They why? Because they knew people out there could get to these kids. But guess what? Now these kids are downtown State College. Those people are in between College and Beaver Avenue and the bars in Calder Alley now, partying, having a good time with these players. Do you understand what I'm saying? I know it's a smaller scale, but the fact that they were worried about athletes 30 years ago because about throwing games and throwing sports and stuff like that, manipulating games, manipulating scores, and now you have it on every campus, every school. Anybody, 18 or over with a credit card can bet on anything they want right now.
Yep.
Again, there's a lot out there that a lot needs to be fixed up. And I mean, how do they get to this bad? Or does technology take over? What do you think?
I don't know. It is so mind-boggling right now. The amount of money that is out there right now, from between the betting, the TV, and the streaming deals. And I get sports has always been big business, but I mean, it is like through the roof. Now it's also there's a lot of money invested, right? To go back to the point with, again, I get people complaining about the $100 parking. I would complain about it too. But put yourself again in the shoes of the athletic director or the athletic department. It's like, all right, well, we have a chance here to try. We want to capitalize on this monetary opportunity, sure. And we're trying to, be the best in all of our sports. We want to support our student athletes. We want to provide better facilities. Hey, here's a chance we can get some more income in. Where is that breaking point? And that's what I think you're always trying to analyze. We're going to take a break here. We'll continue the conversation on the other side of this timeout. You are listening to the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show. We are at Quaker Steak and Lube, the place to be. Come on down, watch some Major League Baseball action, when it's not pouring out. And you can watch NHL playoff action, the beloved Penguins ready to make that run. You can watch NBA, if that's your cup of tea. You can watch the Final Four this weekend and much, much more. Masters is just around the corner. All of that available here at Quaker Steak and Lube. And the all-you-can-eat wing buffet is underway here today. And many, including yours truly, already partaking in that. So come on down to Quaker Steak and Lube, our home away from home, on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 3 to 5. And again, we are coming right back.
Coast into fall with a new Kia from Lion Country Kia. Right now, get a 24 Kia Seltos for 5.25% APR for up to 48 months. A new Sportage plug-in hybrid at 0.9% APR. Check out our 23 Sorento hybrid for as low as 4.5% APR. And don't forget, all 2023 and 2024 Kias come with a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. Stop in and meet with one of our sales experts today and coast into fall at Lion Country Kia. We want to see you in a Kia.
Since retiring, I have spent my time searching the countryside for the hottest wings in America. I always seem to end up disappointed. You call these hot? Back off, Luigi.
Mamma mia.
Look hands it, busboy. Your wings suck! I knew I should have stuck with Quaker Steak's triple atomic wings. You think I'm tough enough?
The Center Hall Farm Store has been serving Center County and beyond for well over a half century. A small family business, the Center Hall Farm Store specializes in animal nutrition and manufactures its feed fresh using local ingredients. Get the best in horse, cow, pig, chicken, and bird feeds. If you're not already a customer, stop in and see why so many of your neighbors are. The Center Hall Farm Store at 110 West Allison Street in Center Hall, or call us at 814-364-1393.
Sioka Toyota of Williamsport invites you to stop in today or check us out online. We have the smart path to your next Toyota, like the all-new Crown, BZ4X, the all-new Grand Highlander, Corolla Cross Hybrids, Sequoias, and more. Over 100 new Toyotas here and on the way. Don't make a $1,000 mistake. Choose Sioka Toyota of Williamsport and see the Sioka dealership's difference. Buy or reserve yours today and see for yourself why Sioka Toyota is the only stop you need for your next new car. Sioka Toyota, it just feels right.
Ready to be part of something bigger? Come pave the road to success at Glen Baker and discover a career where your hard work and determination can build a bigger, better future. Our team believes we can build a stronger future together. Join us at Glen Baker, where we value teamwork on the field and on the job. Go to GOHcareers.com to apply. GOHcareers.com. And best of luck to all the Center County sports teams all season long from everyone at Glen Baker.
With a Timber Kids savings account, you can start to save money, earn prizes, and teach your kids the value of savings. It's easy as 1, 2, 3. Building futures is what we do at TFCU.
You really need to belong to a credit union. You belong at TFCU, Timberland Federal Credit Union, a credit union you can grow with.
The Goon and Ironhead.
It is the Lion Country Kia Goon and Ironhead show. Our thanks to Lion Country Kia and to Sioka Motors and to Quaker Steak and Lube and Timberland Federal Credit Union.
Absolutely.
We appreciate the support from all of our sponsors here and are very, very much in your debt.
I don't understand. You got dozen wings down in 2 breaks, Jeff. That might be a record.
Not too shabby, right?
Like, are they tenders?
Not
No.
too bad.
They were full blown wing, full blown. Very nice, very good work. Good work.
We do what we can.
Yeah, buddy. So yes, I did have to say this. I did notice 2 weeks ago when you were out in Kansas City that there was a story on the internet that I didn't see it, the actual what they're talking about, but that there was a line put on Penn State winning the national title in wrestling, and the line was set at minus 300. And it was only up there for 10 to 12 minutes, and it went to minus 1,800 within minutes. Because minus 300, with that team that they had, somebody messed that up. I think they missed a zero. It should have been minus $3,000 at least to start with. And then minus 15 to 1,800, whatever it got to. Unbelievable. Somebody definitely lost their job in Las Vegas by doing that stuff. So I just did see a commercial here. Bo Nichols fighting next Saturday night.
Yep.
That's a hell of a weekend, Jeff.
Not
Ready
bad.
for this one?
Yeah.
Masters.
Yep.
Buccos at Phillies, Thursday to Sunday.
Battling Buccos.
The Masters.
First place Buccos.
And Bo Nickel fighting Saturday night.
Pretty good stuff.
That's a heck of a weekend, buddy. You know what I should do? I should get with all my buddies and go away from man camp.
Got blue-white game. Got blue-white game.
Well, I can watch that on television.
Go blue.
Yeah. Blue always wins. It's crazy. Yes, but that's going to be a heck of a weekend next weekend. So, what do you got going on?
Then the Olympic trials.
Let me hear the Ironhead.
The Olympic trials the following weekend.
Correct.
Well, so this coming weekend, we actually have the Penn State Wrestling Club's award banquet on Sunday.
You say that he's going to get the Hodge Trophy then and there.
Yeah.
Are you going to, or does somebody actually from the Hodge? Like, is there a Heisman committee?
Yeah. So Win Magazine created, well, in conjunction, but they present the award is the short of it. So Brian Van Clay, they have a couple people, but Brian Van Clay, who's the editor-in-chief, I believe is the title, but the guy in charge of Win, who is, by the way, a really, really good guy. I've really enjoyed getting to know him over the years, but he'll be here, and yeah, they will present the award on Sunday to Aaron. So
no offense,
looking forward to that.
I haven't met many bad people in the wrestling world.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Like I sit there and I just sulk and I get so mad at the Brands brothers, but there are people out there who love them.
Oh yeah,
they respect.
And they've done a lot of good things for their kids and for other.
But it's funny the appearance of it, like people who don't know, like me, i.e., idiot boy over here, who are like, "Oh, I can't stand that guy," this and that. But you know, in all, the wrestling community is very, very tight, and they also need very good people.
Yeah. So yeah, we have that, and the kiddo, the Mad Turtle, is supposed to be having a bunch of practices this week, but we have a couple of different events with the kiddo coming up on Saturday. So I'll be shuttling him to and fro. This weather this week, and I know it's April. What do you expect? I get it.
Can't have May flowers,
but man, it is tough. This was. I'm sure for a lot of the other little leagues too, but State College Little League was like kicking off in earnest this week, and practices scheduled throughout the week for all of the teams, and obviously nothing's happening, and I don't think anything's going to happen this week if our man Mr. Bastardi with weatherbell.com is accurate, and I think he is. This isn't going away anytime real quick. Yeah, this is not good. Coming up later this week. Yeah, the S word. Potential even for like it to actually lay on the ground and stuff. And
for how long?
I'm not happy. Well, not for long.
How many inches are we talking here?
A couple that would lay. More that'll potentially fall. And part of it'll be elevation. We may be hopefully knocking on wood down here. Although he does say once we get through this week, if we get through this week, then we should be pretty much in the clear. Yeah. But man, what a rough week this is. And then, of course, the heartbreaking news. And I had a tough time. I'm going to try not to tear up here but Penn State Bucknell baseball was supposed to be played today, Goon.
You literally had me thinking there was something wrong in your life, bro.
And you haven't heard. I haven't gotten to it yet, Goon, because it was supposed to be.
God,
it's supposed to be a dollar dog night.
Oh,
no dollar dog night, Goon.
Oh.
All right, I'm gonna compose myself.
First, they get rid of them in Philadelphia completely. Now they're not even mean.
No dollar dog night.
There was $3,800 dogs eaten last week at the baseball game. Honest to God, versus Pitt Tuesday night. We should have Scott Walker on here again.
I really thought they could set a new record tonight, and now they don't even have the opportunity.
Well, they needed to avenge the basketball team's losses versus Bucknell. That's what they needed to do.
Amen to that.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tough times, though. It's one thing when the rain affects the games themselves. It's another when you start affecting the dietary habits of the dear people of Happy Valley.
You and me are very much on the food thing together, but there's one more thing that you mentioned earlier.
Yeah,
the pain of playing baseball in the North in April.
Yeah, it's tough.
Like when were tryouts? Probably 2-3 weeks ago.
I think even might have been longer than
that. How cold was it that day?
Well, they went. They did. They did.
Inside?
Yeah, the evaluations they did inside.
Oh.
Yeah. So
that's bad. I'm not happy with that.
No.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Did they have hitting inside too?
Yeah.
Oh.
So yeah, I don't know. It's not looking good. I mean, obviously, everything the first half of the week here is wiped out, but it is not looking good to get any of this stuff in at all. At least Monday through Friday, and that's just brutal, man.
Dude,
Like,
one of the my most hated things in my childhood was hitting baseballs on a cold day. Horrible. That is a horrible, horrible feeling.
yeah. So the Mad Turtle went with a couple of buddies yesterday, and it was funny. The one of his buddies. So the Mad Turtle is getting all geared up for this season. So we have the batting gloves. We have new cleats. We are ready and raring to go. We have the big league bubble gum chew. Yep, we're all ready with all of that.
It's a very exciting
And
13 seconds before it goes away.
Absolutely correct. And so I don't know. There were, I think, 4 or 5 of them down in the neighborhood yesterday, and it's like, well, if we can't practice, we'll practice. So they went down and they were practicing. So the one kid is like, well, I don't have batting gloves, and every time I hit the ball, it hurts. It's and Reggie's like, he's like, well, yeah, I have batting gloves, and it still hurts. I got news for you. So yeah, some things never change. That is
definitely the worst part of baseball growing up.
That is tough.
Very, very, very bad.
Creates character or something
Builds.
like that. Yeah, something like that.
You leave the wrestling world and you get in there, and then all of a sudden, you're 13 years old. How old is the turtle now? 6, 7?
No, he
9?
is 8.
8.
Will be 9 in what, 3 months here.
So what is he in, like the minor league? Is he in pitch ball yet?
This will be the first year. So we haven't had our first practice yet, but yeah, this is the first year of kids pitch, and he is. We'll see how this goes. So he has very much wanted to be a catcher, and
part of the action, baby.
Yep.
Every play.
And so he is. I think one of 2 kids that are signed up to be catchers on his team this year, and we've been talking. I don't know that there's any way to truly prepare for it. It's like, you don't know where the ball is going, my man. Like, you're just going to have to be ready to try to track it down. Yeah, so this will be a whole new world for us this year for parents and kiddos alike. So let the good times roll, as whoever they are, say. I believe so. Yeah, I think it's all. Yeah, I think they do. My understanding is they'll have steel. Like, it's going to be insanity, because I think they can do now. I don't know if there's any limits or anything. I don't know all of the details, but I think there's steals. I think there's you can take leads and all of that stuff. Now maybe. They did say that. What was the? So at least for the first, is it the first 2 weeks, or maybe first 2 or 3 weeks? If there is the possibility of some adults stepping into pitch to try to get and I don't know. I forget if it's after X amount of pitches. Yeah, it's like, all right, well, let's at least give the kids the opportunity. But at some point, I think it's maybe the first 2 weeks of the season that is permitted, and then it's like, nope, then it's all kids. So yeah, we'll see. I don't know all of the details, but I believe, I think it's 3 outs.
You're so coming in there one day in a sling.
Oh, it's
the
going to be
cuff pitching.
It's going to be interesting.
I think that,
and I'm looking forward.
I think they just throw the whole. All right, all 9 of you or 10 of you bad, and then we're going. I mean, do they even understand the rules at that age?
They most of them now. Maybe not all of the rules, but they at least, they're all running to the right base now, which wasn't the case, obviously when they were 5 and 6. But I think they have a pretty. I think pretty good handle on
Okay.
the basic rules. Again, we'll find out,
Like
and
a
maybe
hot
I'm
shot
wrong
to third,
on
the guy's
some of
gonna go
this.
across the diamond to the first baseman.
Well, I will
Nah.
tell you we've been working on our throwing. I will say, I don't know about getting from third to first, and I'm not even sure about getting from home plate to second base if there is such plays required in the upcoming season. But our throwing is getting much better, and we're able to put some zip on it, which was not the case until this year.
Here's the deal. The first time somebody's daddy or mommy says, hey, let's turn 2 here, to an 8-year-old, you punch them.
Exactly. Why would you not go for 3?
Yeah.
We don't have any outs.
Hey,
you don't
get
go
2
for
here,
2.
kids.
Let's get 3, guys. Come on.
Model.
Let's be thinking out there. Think
Oh,
big.
man. I wouldn't punch anybody
Turn
in the face.
2. You got to get 3.
Jeff, no reason to punch anybody in the face. I didn't mean it like that. I want you out there hammering people. But come on.
Now, no
It
promises.
is fun. I do like watching games at that age
Oh,
because somebody hits it and all 10 guys and girls, they all run. You got girls in it?
we were talking. Yes.
Yeah, they all run to the ball, and it's like, and then no one's covering the base, and they all run to cover the base. It's actually comical. Are we that age, or are we past all that?
I think we're past that. Although we'll see. I'm a little curious to see how this season progresses and what it looks like. We are definitely at an age where, and I suppose from here on out that'll be the case, but there is a wide range of understanding, ability, etc., and that is a part of the fun of it, but part of the oh boy
How many games a week?
element to it as well. Mostly it'll be I believe 2 or 3 games a week. I think it's 3 most weeks.
No weekends, right?
Fun. We do have some weekend games. Yep, we do have some weekend games. I'm not I have the schedule, but I'm not sure how many. But we definitely have.
Is mommy as happy and looking forward to this as much as daddy is, or what?
Yeah, we like baseball. We're and that is the one that has been the most consistent sports passion of the Mad Turtle. Like we go through phases where we love wrestling, we love flag football, we love this, we want to try that, but baseball has been pretty consistent when it gets to like, hey, do you want to sign up? Yes, absolutely, 100%. So we're running with that for the time being. And the one thing we're not going to do, I don't even know where or how this came about, but it's like, I want to do travel. I'm like, no, I don't even know. I don't even know if it's an option. And if it is, no. Like, one, your parents don't have a schedule that can accommodate that right now. 2, even if we did, like, no, not at 8 or 9.
No.
And for those that are doing that, it's not disparaging you. I'm just telling you, like, we are not doing it. So more power to you. And I know, listen, at different ages and different ability levels and all of it, but fine. We're just not at that point in any way. And listen, we want to try again. I think within the last 3 weeks, we have wanted to try karate, fencing, swimming. I'm missing 2 or 3. We want to go. We want to try tackle football, which we're not. We've only done 1 year of flag football, and we really don't have. I'm not a huge, and again, not disparaging anybody that has their kids in it. But we're not ready for tackle football. Yeah, we need to get a better understanding for one thing of just the game. So we need to do flag football. We do love rock climbing. We've done that, and I think they do that again.
Like, do you know rock climbing? Because like something around here would do.
Yeah, he really does. Like that is probably next to baseball. That's been the most consistent like passion we go full throttle into that when we do it.
Did you have karate? Did you have wrestling?
No, and it was, you know, we did have wrestling, but I don't think it was until we got to maybe like 4th or 5th grade. And maybe I'm wrong about this in my mind, though. I think like when we were like before 4th grade, when I young, before 4th grade, the only things I remember doing, and I feel like we kind of tried to take advantage of everything that was there. So I don't think there were options to do a lot of the other things. But baseball and soccer, like everybody did soccer, the organized soccer.
So did we.
Yeah, and that was from like Biddy, you know, whatever it was, 5 years old or whatever.
Soccer and basketball, the Springfield Biddy Ball Association.
Yeah, I don't even know that we did, and maybe we did. It in my mind at least, like basketball and wrestling, we started maybe like in 5th grade. It's at least what it might have been 4th grade, but it was a little bit later. Like you know, Pee Wee baseball and the soccer were the two things. Like from an organized standpoint, everything else it was like, yeah. And then you started to do, you know, some organized, but again, it was like for couple of months type thing for basketball or wrestling, and we did both. Like, I mean, I don't know exactly how it worked, but I mean, I remember doing we definitely did the kids basketball and the kids wrestling so I don't know if it was just on different nights or if at that stage it was different times of the year or how that worked. But
when Fitzy was here back until 2013 when they left, he had his 3 kids. He goes, one night we're wrestling, next night we're doing karate, the next night we're doing this. He's like, this is the most unbelievable place in the world for kids. These kids will find something that they like to do.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. So I'm actually, did you see me smirking? You're talking about Biddy basketball and Little League baseball. We walked everywhere or rode our bike.
Yeah. Yep.
And I mean, we're talking about a mile, 2 miles.
We didn't have very far to go.
Well,
so
yeah,
that was.
We had to go a little bit down the road a little bit. And,
yeah.
About a mile away down the road and walk there, or a mile and a half to go play basketball at the certain place. And I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't walk there. I mean, now.
Yeah.
Now it's like, you know, you kids
different times.
Yeah, buddy.
No doubt about it. All right. So we'll be talking about, let's see, by the time we get together Thursday, I guess it'll just be the 6-0 Pirates. So I was thinking
no game today, right? No. Oh,
yeah, no game.
Wow.
No game
celebrating
today.
Yesterday's games.
Can't celebrate it enough. Can't celebrate it enough. They're still undefeated, Goon. Still undefeated.
Even after the replay. Who saw that one?
Play it back again. We want to watch it one more time.
Get used to it. I'd say within 2 weeks you're under 500.
Hey, what does that have to do with
next
anything?
Weekend. You got
what
4.
Does that have to do with anything?
4 versus the Phil Dogs coming in.
We're living in the now, man. We're not living in the future.
We'll have our own little play there, Cobra.
We're living in the now. Folks, have yourselves a great couple of days. We'll be back on Thursday. Until then, be good.
Coast into fall. Coast into fall with a new Kia from Lion Country Kia. Right now, get a 24 Kia Seltos for 5.25% APR for up to 48 months. A new Sportage plug-in hybrid at 0.9% APR. Check out our 23 Sorrento hybrid for as low as 4.5% APR. And don't forget, all 2023 and 2024 Kias come with a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. Stop in and meet with one of our sales experts today and coast into fall at Lion Country Kia. We want to see you in a Kia.
Since retiring, I have spent my time searching the countryside for the hottest wings in America. I always seem to end up disappointed. You call these hot? Back off, Luigi.
Mamma mia.
Look, handsy busboy. Your wings suck! I knew I should have stuck with Quaker Steak's triple atomic wings. You think I'm tough enough?
The Center Hall Farm Store has been serving Center County and beyond for well over a half century. A small family business, the Center Hall Farm Store specializes in animal nutrition and manufactures its feed fresh using local ingredients. Get the best in horse, cow, pig, chicken, and bird feeds. If you're not already a customer, stop in and see why so many of your neighbors are. The Center Hall Farm Store at 110 West Allison Street in Center Hall, or call us at 814-364-1393.
Sioka Toyota of Williamsport invites you to stop in today or check us out online. We have the smart path to your next Toyota, like the all-new Crown, BZ4X, the all-new Grand Highlander, Corolla Cross Hybrids, Sequoias, and more. Over 100 new Toyotas here and on the way. Don't make a $1,000 mistake. Choose Sioka Toyota of Williamsport and see the Sioka dealership's difference. Buy or reserve yours today and see for yourself why Sioka Toyota is the only stop you need for your next new car. Sioka Toyota, it just feels right.
Ready to be part of something bigger? Come pave the road to success at Glen O'Habaker and discover a career where your hard work and determination can build a bigger, better future. Our team believes we can build a stronger future together. Join us at Glen O'Habaker, where we value teamwork on the field and on the job. Go to GOHcareers.com to apply. GOHcareers.com. And best of luck to all the Center County sports teams all season long from everyone at Glen O'Habaker.
With a Timber Kids savings account, you can start to save money, earn prizes, and teach your kids the value of savings. It's easy as 1, 2, 3. Building futures is what we do at TFCU.
You really need to belong to a credit union. You belong at TFCU, Timberland Federal Credit Union, a credit union you can grow with.
The Goon and Ironhead.